Good Monday morning, Northern Michigan. Registered dietitian Jen May back in studio. As always, good to see you, Jen.
You too, Melissa. Thanks for having me again.
Now, I know one of the big questions that I have a lot, I'm sure other people might have the same question, the difference between the good carbs and the bad carbs. I know I love pastas, I love breads. Is it just about portion control? Are there some carbs that maybe we should stay away from more than others?
Well, it is a lot about portion control, and with carbohydrates, we do want to focus on the whole grains when we are talking about cereals and pastas and breads.
Okay.
Now, one thing I wanted to do is go through some sources of carbohydrates, because carbs tend to get a bad rap, but they're actually very, very healthy. They're our primary source of energy. Great source of fiber, lots of vitamins and minerals, so it's just balancing them out and finding the right ones.
Perfect, okay.
So carbohydrates we know from our grains. We have cereals, which I brought in all whole grain options, whole grain breads, whole grain pastas, brown rices. You really want to focus on the whole grain varieties.
Okay.
Whole grain bagels, whole wheat flour. When you're baking, you can substitute half of the flour in recipes can be whole wheat flour.
Okay.
So that's a good way to incorporate it. Fruit is going to provide you carbohydrates. Your yogurt and your milk and your starchy vegetables like your potatoes, your corn, your peas, your legumes. These are some examples of what are going to provide you your carbohydrates.
Okay.
Now, we talked a little bit about portions.
Yes.
And I love the term portion distortion.
Portion distortion.
Because I think that's one of the big issues with carbohydrates.
Taking too much in.
Too much in.
Okay.
Exactly. And for most men and women, and it varies a little bit depending on your age and energy level, just from the grain group, I'm not talking about fruits or veggies, but just from our grain group here, probably about 5 to 7 ounce equivalents a day.
Okay.
Now, a large bagel that you might pick up somewhere, 4 ounce equivalent right there.
Wow, okay.
So I usually encourage people, if you can have a couple servings at breakfast, a couple at lunch, a couple at dinner, you're good for the day.
Now you have some ways to measure it out here too, which
I do.
helps to visually see this.
Now I don't have any cooked pasta with me, but a half a cup of cooked pasta is 1 serving. And this is a half cup.
Okay, but I'm definitely having way too much pasta.
And I thought I would just do a quick example here. And we'll measure out a cup of dry cereal.
Okay, so 1 cup of the cereal.
And this is actually a smaller bowl. If you look in your cupboards, most people have bowls that are a lot bigger than this. But if you want to pour that on in there, Melissa, and that would be a 1 ounce equivalent.
Really?
Of the grains.
Okay, so big distortion going on here. My bowls are a little bit bigger when it comes to the cereal.
So the carbohydrates are a really important part of our diets.
Okay.
It's just making sure that we're trying to focus primarily on the healthy whole grain options and really watching those portions.
Those portions, which is huge, something that I have to work on myself. Well, Jen, is always great to see you. Thank you for this information.
You're welcome.
For more information about the good carbs and really how to keep your portions under control, check out our website, upnorthlive.com. I will post a direct link to Jen May if you do have any specific questions for her. And taking a look this morning at your bus stop forecast, we turn things over to Storm Team meteorologist Joe Charlevoix.